You doing okay? She's got no visible injuries.
Do you think I can ask you some questions?
You've done one of these before?
No.
Are you kidding? What's going on here? We're all good.
Can't do that without... Damn it, what's going on?
That's impossible.
Clearly not.
Later, Jimmy Fallon welcomes Kelly Ripa, NBC Tonight.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy, water, and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
On our broadcast tonight, the Rhinelander School District is going to referendum. We'll explain how it will benefit students and how much it could cost residents. Plus, the Wisconsin School District is cracking down on teacher opinion. We'll break down what topics they're restricting personal opinion. And Wisconsin Senate candidates are sharing how they will plan to curb crime. We'll have their plans next as your local news starts right now.
Your local news and weather from where you live. Newswatch 12 at 10 starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Newswatch 12 at 10. I'm Jessica Jukic. A Wisconsin judge delayed a ruling on whether or not a man accused of killing 6 and injuring dozens can represent himself. Today, a judge deferred a decision on whether Darrell Brooks could represent himself. During the hearing, Brooks said he doesn't understand the charges against him or how the state can prosecute him. Now the judge is giving Brooks until tomorrow morning to decide if he still wants to represent himself. Brooks is accused of killing 6 people and injuring dozens when he allegedly drove his SUV through the Christmas parade in Waukesha. He faces 77 charges, including 6 counts of first-degree intentional homicide and 61 counts of reckless endangerment. His trial is set to begin on Monday. It's a cold night, and temperatures are expected to drop below freezing. Meteorologist Conrad Sapinski explains how long these cool temps will last. Conrad?
Yeah, Jessica, it's definitely going to be a chilly one tonight, so bundle up by your morning commute because temperatures will be in the 20s. We have lots of freeze warnings in the area. Right here, the purple shaded areas, temperatures will be in the 20s. And then the outskirts in the blue, those are some frost advisories. And then also in Michigan, we do have some freeze watches, but in Wisconsin, it is all set. There will be cold temperatures tonight, and those temperatures all the way from Canada have made its way down. Check out International Falls at 33, Eagle River at 35. Now let's take a closer in-depth look. Even some 20s are showing up there right now. Manitowish Waters at 29 right now, 37 in Land O'Lakes, 35 in Eagle River, and 36 in Rhinelander. So we are cooling down near average temperatures right now. Partly cloudy skies at the moment, but decreasing clouds will continue overnight as temperatures continue to cool off into the 20s. Jessica?
Thank you, Conrad. The Portage County Sheriff's Office is investigating a deadly crash. It happened just after 12:30 today in the town of Stockton. Authorities say 2 semi-tractor trailers were driving on the eastbound lanes of U.S. Highway 10, and 1 semi was hit from behind. The first semi-truck driver was a 56-year-old man from Winnebago County, and he had minor injuries from the crash. Authorities say the driver of the second truck was a 51-year-old man from Richland County who died from his injuries. 1 semi-truck caught fire, and crews were able to put the flames out. Crimes rising across the country. For example, murders have spiked nearly 40% since 2019. We asked Wisconsin Senate candidates Ron Johnson and Mandela Barnes about what they would do to curb crime if elected. Senator Johnson said it starts with treating police with respect and ends with giving them the funding they need.
So first of all, support law enforcement. To tell them that we appreciate their efforts, and then fully fund them. If you want to have opportunity, if you want to have prosperity, you need a safe and secure community and state and nation. And so you have to realize that that's really a top priority of government, is to provide that safety and security. You're not going to do that by, releasing criminals without bail. You're not going to do that by just, willy-nilly reducing the prison population. That's what the Evers-Barnes administration has done.
When asked the same question, Mandela Barnes said he's experienced the impacts of violent crime firsthand, having lost friends to gun violence while growing up in Milwaukee.
And that's why we need to make sure that law enforcement officers have the resources they need to keep us safe, and also make sure that our communities have what they need to stop crime from happening in the first place. And I've actually already supported budgets here at the state level that have increased funding for law enforcement and public safety initiatives, including resources for proper training and the hiring of social workers to answer crisis calls like they did in Superior, Janesville, and Eau Claire. Now, the truth here is, unlike Ron Johnson, I would have voted for the American Rescue Plan, and that allowed Governor Evers and I to invest $100 million in the law enforcement and public safety initiatives in the state.
Barnes and Johnson have agreed to 2 televised debates, one in Madison hosted by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and one in Milwaukee on WTMJ. A staffing crisis at a youth prison is keeping teens confined in cells for long periods of time. Lincoln Hills has filled 3 of its 12 open social worker positions. According to a new report filed in federal court in a class action lawsuit, the facility had a 40% vacancy rate for counselors. The shortage is causing teens to miss out on classroom time and stay in prison for longer. 5 teaching positions have been vacant, and Lincoln Hills has not been able to hire a social worker since 2018. Lincoln Hills and Copper Lake have both been seeing a jump in the prison population. Records from the Wisconsin election probe will soon be made public. All records from the investigation into the 2020 presidential election probe are being uploaded to a website. American Oversight is a liberal watchdog group that has filed 4 open records lawsuits against former Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice Michael Gableman and Republican Assembly Speaker Robin Vos. Today, during a lawsuit hearing, American Oversight was seeking to stop a deletion of election probe records. The probe was led by Gableman, and his investigation did not uncover any widespread fraud in the 2020 election. Gableman was eventually fired in August by Vos. A Wisconsin school district has a new policy that's limiting teachers' opinions in the classroom. In Manitowoc, the school board passed a new policy that will no longer allow teachers to guide students to a particular viewpoint they support. Students can still discuss controversial issues, but without teachers offering their personal viewpoint that could influence students. The new policy applies to topics in 4 categories: politics, religion, social, and economics.
Everyone I've talked to, once they understand, it doesn't limit the actual discussion of controversial issues. All it does is limits teachers injecting personal opinions on it. You know, everyone that I've talked to, once they understand that, you know, seems to agree, like, yeah, that makes sense.
The policy also requires teachers to notify the district administrator of any controversial issues to be discussed if they have not specified in a course of study. A Northwoods nonprofit will soon be bringing their services to Lincoln County. The Opportunity Development Center will begin providing services in Merrill community starting next week. The ODC is a nonprofit that specializes in assisting people with special needs with employment, transitioning through schooling, and daily living skills. ODC will likely fill part of Lincoln Industries' role in that community as a nonprofit cuts back its services. An informational meeting is scheduled for Monday, October 3rd from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Park City Credit Union in Merrill. ODC will begin providing temporary services at St. Stephen's United Church of Christ. Over the past decade, more than 130 operational referendums have been brought forward in Wisconsin school districts. Rhinelander is going to be the next school to do so in fall. Newswatch 12's Mohammed Abdul Kawi explains how it's helping the district avoid significant cuts to the program.
We have some great things happening in Rhinelander, and for those great things to continue, it's important that we pass this referendum.
Rhinelander area residents showed up to the Hodag Dome on Tuesday to listen to a community presentation about the operational referendum for the upcoming November 8th election.
So the state formula for funding in schools puts us in a situation where we need to go for operational referendum. We're considered property rich here in Rhinelander,
meaning that more of the responsibility for funding schools depends on local property taxpayers. School District of Rhinelander Superintendent Eric Burke says passing the referendum is critical for a brighter future in Rhinelander.
Helps pay for all the increased costs we have with gas and all the different expenses, staffing. It goes for our programs and all of our resources.
There is no expected property tax change, and it may even go down.
If passed with our state aid, your school property tax will go down $2 per 1,000, which is actually about $200 if you own a $100,000 home.
Burke says the district has been able to manage its financial challenges in recent years because of the community. He hopes the district will continue that momentum.
I think the community has supported the last few referendums, and they seem very happy with our school district, according to our last survey. So we want to keep that rolling.
Reporting in.
There will be 3 more community meetings before the November 8th election. A group's raising money for a park improvement project. Coming up, how the music in the bowl will help make the park ADA compliant. That's after weather right here on Newswatch 12.
Prices are going up on groceries, they're going up at the gas station. The only ones profiting are oil companies, big corporations, China, and Ron Johnson. Johnson makes money from investments in factories in China. No wonder Johnson's net worth has doubled since he's been in Washington. Even worse, Johnson's allowed oil and drug companies to jack up prices on us. He takes all that money from them. Ron Johnson profits, we pay the price. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Don't lose sleep by choosing a mattress from just any store. Instead, visit the experts at your one-stop sleep shop. Hi, I'm Kristen from Sleep Central. We're the only store in the Northwoods to carry all of the name brands, like Beautyrest, Sealy, Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and Serta, and all are ready for immediate delivery. We guarantee you'll find the perfect mattress at the perfect price. We also have a huge selection of bedding, futons, and accessories. We know how important sleep is, so stop on by and sleep better today. Sleep Central in Minocqua. Better sleep, pain-free, that's our promise.
The light at the end of the tunnel isn't shining so brightly for everyone. Families continue to fight for survival. Some jobs are gone forever. Bills pile up. But please know, you have not been forgotten. Your local Wisconsin energy and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safely in your home and your heat and power on. Apply now for a hand up.
I worked in law enforcement for more than 30 years. I know what it takes to keep our community safe. Mandela Barnes stands with Defund the Police and supports no cash bail that releases dangerous criminals back into our communities. Barnes supports sanctuary cities and spending millions of taxpayer dollars on illegal immigrants. Take it from me, the bad guys belong in jail, and Mandela Barnes belongs nowhere near the Senate.
Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
On crime, Tony Evers broke his promise. Evers released hundreds of violent criminals from prison. Murderers, child rapists, back on our streets. Evers broke his promise. Now we're less safe than ever.
Tim Michels took an oath to protect America, and that's what he'll do as governor. Michels will put more police on the street, fire weak prosecutors, and keep criminals behind bars. Strength and leadership. Tim Michels for governor.
And we had a chilly one out there today, my friends. Hopefully you guys had your jackets because we needed them. Temperatures were in the upper 80s, in the upper 40s actually in Rhinelander. I wish it was in the 80s. 48 in Eagle River as well. 45 in Land O'Lakes. Couple of 50s down south. But overall, we were all well below average in the 40s and 50s. Right now, though, temperatures are in the 20s. A couple of 30s out there right now. Manitowish Waters, 29 degrees. A couple of mid-30s by Rhinelander. Same thing by Eagle River. But Tomahawk is already coming in close to freezing. So get ready. Those cooler temperatures will continue to move in. There will be some frost and freeze in the area overnight, especially by the morning hours. That's why we have some freeze warnings in effect until 8 a.m. tomorrow. Locations in the purple and then places in the blue have some frost advisories. Temperatures will be a little bit warmer in those low to mid 30s, but still near freezing or below freezing temperatures all across the state. But hey, you know the saying, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Check out Saturday. Look at this warm-up. 65 by Friday, 70 almost by Saturday. And then temperatures pretty much staying near above average in the mid to upper 60s. So don't put away those short sleeve shirts yet, because warmer weather is on the way. Right now, we do have some mostly cloudy skies. Most of these clouds will continue to break up. So later on overnight, we'll actually see a little bit more of clearing. So expect some partly cloudy skies, and that's really going to help the atmosphere cool off and bring in all those chilly temperatures overnight tonight. But take a look in the west. Not much going on. Same thing in Canada. That's a really good sign for us. That means nothing is on the way. The next week will be dry, so enjoy it while it lasts. Let me mention Hurricane Ian right now, Category 3 major hurricane. It is about to hit Florida the next 24 hours, so brace for impact if you have any family members out there. Hopefully not, because this will be a really slow-moving hurricane, which will produce an excessive amount of rainfall, close to 2 feet in Florida. So it will be a pretty bad hurricane out there. So be careful, take extra precautions. Here in Wisconsin, definitely no hurricanes, but temperatures will be cold tonight in those upper 20s. Partly cloudy skies and freeze warnings have been posted all across the state. Tomorrow, not much of an improvement. We will see lots of sunshine throughout the day, but temperatures will still hover in those mid-50s, so well below our average. We're supposed to be around 64 degrees. And our 7-day outlook, brought to you by Northwoods Furniture and Mattress, does show a warm-up beginning Thursday. 61 on Thursday, 65 on Friday, and look at Saturday, 69 degrees. Then temperatures pretty much staying neutral in those mid to upper 60s even into next week. So enjoy it while it lasts. It's fall and cooler weather will be back. So enjoy those warm temperatures, especially the weekend with barely any rain and lots of sunshine. Temperatures up there. Jessica?
Thank you, Conrad. Leaves are changing at different rates throughout the Northwoods. With cool, crisp evenings this year, fall leaves are expected to be a normal shape and color. According to the Travel Wisconsin Fall Color Report, in Tomahawk, leaves have changed at a rate of 10%, Rhinelander at 25%, Minocqua at 40%, and Merrill at 50%.
So as long as it stays not too dry, I think we're in for a pretty good year.
Leaves are predicted to peak in color by the second week in October. Coming up this Sunday, the Friends of Town Line Lake Park will be holding a concert, which will raise money for a park improvement project. In 2019, the Oneida County Forestry Land and Recreation Committee voted to sell 8 acres of the park. However, an effort was made to reverse the sale.
And the community just rallied and came together, and the county board decided to keep the park and work with our group. So, our goal now is to maintain the park and do some improvements.
Beckman, along with other members, have the goal to create an ADA-compliant combination fishing pier and kayak launch. The accessible kayak launch will be the first of its kind in Oneida County.
Accessibility in parks in general is kind of questionable at some of the spots up here. So as we've been moving forward with everything we've done has how can we make this something that everybody gets to enjoy.
The concert will feature bands including Walter's Own, the Old Pine Road Band. The Music in the Bowl event will take place on Sunday, October 2nd from noon until 3 p.m. It's crunch time for the Milwaukee Brewers with less than 2 weeks to make a run at the playoffs. Coming up on Newswatch 12, Serenity Douglas will break down the Cruise game tonight, plus take us through some high school volleyball when we come back.
Under Governor Evers, hard-working Wisconsin families are being left behind. We're paying more for food, gas, everything. And Tony Evers tried to make us pay even more, a 20% gas tax increase, doubling the tax on home heating bills. And while Evers puts the squeeze on us, he wanted to give taxpayer-funded benefits to people who refuse to work. He even opposes drug testing welfare recipients. Tony Evers is leaving hard-working Wisconsin families behind.
You protected our rights, preserved our freedom. You may have even risked your life for us. Now, it's our turn to fight for you. Your local Wisconsin emergency, energy, and housing assistance providers, and the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund reward the service of our veterans with rental and energy support in their time of crisis. Apply today to get the fresh start you've earned.
Welcome. We're so glad you're here. Looking for one of our most capable Ford SUVs? Okay, great. We've got you covered. Spacious interiors, innovative tech, good looks, and a legendary off-road experience. Check out our inventory today, or let us help you place a custom order. Getting into the perfect Ford SUV? Well, it's easier than ever. Yeah, we've got you covered. Now choose FlexBuy on a 2022 Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer and get 0% financing for 66 months.
The radical left hate America and riot in our streets. They indoctrinate our children to hate America, stoking fear and envy with their lies and deceptions. Their radical woke agenda and divisive politics are tearing our country apart. Here's Mandela Barnes.
The founder of this nation? Awful.
Mandela Barnes is a radical leftist. He supports their woke agenda that's causing you and your family so much pain.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
ELM Repair in Edgar is a family-owned and operated full-service diesel repair shop. From pickups to semi-trucks to heavy equipment and RV service. If it runs on diesel, we can repair it. Want more power and better mileage? Our experienced professionals will get your truck running and at peak performance. With a state-of-the-art dyno and fully stocked parts department, we can even come out to you with our 24-hour mobile repair service. ELM is always looking for passionate and talented people to join our team. The Diesel Doctor. Have it done right the first time at ELM Repair.
Coming up on your Wednesday, see how you can help at this year's Cranberry Fest.
Alrighty, things are drying out and temperatures starting to warm up. 50s, 60s, maybe 70s in the forecast. More when you tune in on your Wednesday edition of the show.
Sports Watch 12 starts now. As the temperatures get colder, the sports get hotter. Tomahawk Volleyball faced off with Northland Pines for their second conference match of the season. The Hatchets dominated again. It was their Dig Pink game for breast cancer awareness, hence why they're all in pink. Senior Megan Schultz was on top of her game, as always with 2 kills in the first. Schultz usually averages the highest blocks, kills per set, and hitting percentages. But the Northland Pines Eagles were able to get some pretty good scores on the board also by Cassidy Sternhagen and Paris Crocker. The Tomahawk remains the #1 team, winning 3-0 with 8 conference wins, and will face off with Medford on Thursday. Staying on some high school volleyball, last year's conference champions Mosinee traveled to Antigo to take on the Red Robins. First set, Antigo showed up to play. Bree Young to Tristan Arlen and spike from Lola Cornelius. Could be an upset brewing. A few points later, Arlene sets up for Ava JG, this time for the spike to the back corner. Point Antigo. Game tied at 13. Mosinee not going out without a fight, though. Alexis Jonas sets, and Michaela Weisner finds the back line. Point Mosinee. And they're going to keep it going here. Jaji going for another spike, but rejected by Mosinee. Let's fast forward to the game point. This serve goes just long. Antigo could win the first game, but Mosinee would rally, winning the match 3-2. Definitely a closer game than expected. Moving on, the cold temperatures didn't hold up some areas for tennis athletes back from playing. Wisconsin Rapids matched up with the Rhinelander Hodaks this afternoon with some games outside and some in the Dome. Wisconsin Rapids won 4-3, but Rhinelanders' Abby Gus beat Tori Ripley in the top singles spot. The Rapids coach said his team is young, but they have great potential and good room for improvement.
Focus on your form, focus on your footwork, and just make sure that you're communicating in doubles, but working on your form, because if you don't have your footwork and your form are not correct, then the ball's not going to go where you want it to go.
The Wisconsin Rapids will play in conference this upcoming Thursday against Wausau East, Wausau West, Spash, Marshfield, Everest, and Merrill. Now let's talk some Brewers baseball. As I mentioned before, these next couple of games are crucial for the Brewers. They need near-perfect games to ensure their spot in the wild card standings. That being said, let's take a look at some highlights. Brewer star Christian Yelich up at the plate, but Miles Michaelis strikes him out. Michaelis had a good game at the mound with 9 strikeouts. And while the Brewers couldn't get anything started on the offense, the Cardinals were red hot. They would end up beating the Brewers 6-2. The good news is the Phillies lost 2, so the Brewers are still in the running for the last wild card spot.
Thank you, Serenity. A local nonprofit is looking to feed more families. Coming up on Newswatch 12, we'll break down where Feed Our Rural Kids is expanding.
There's case after case. Women working for Tim Michaels' construction company saying they were groped, sexually assaulted, and pressured to have sex with their bosses. When they resisted, they say they were threatened, called a liar, and forced to resign. And when co-workers spoke up, they were fired. If this is how Tim Michaels runs his business, how do you think he'd run the state? Tim Michaels' radical agenda is so very, very wrong.
When I first moved here to Wausau from Madison, downtown was the very first area that I looked at, and I was shocked at the unavailability of housing opportunities that was there.
The mall as it is no longer viable. That has changed. It's changed across the country, and it's our turn to change what we have here into a new vision.
My hope is this is something that the Wausau community comes together to do what they always do, which is unite behind reinvesting in Wausau and making it a great place to live, work, and play.
Protecting your cargo is a must, because most times it's more than just cargo. It's the memories, friendships, and adventures that are built with it. The late nights and early mornings, the races and renovations. From hitches to ratchet straps and everything in between, we've got what you need to get your cargo there safely. Secure your passion with 11% off Tow Smart, Smart Straps, and Cargo Smart products at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy, water, and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Ron Johnson's at it again, lying about my taxes. Let's be clear, my taxes are paid in full, but there were times I was getting by on peanut butter sandwiches. And that's why I support a tax cut for the middle class. Put more money in your pockets, because I know how hard you work. But Johnson used his Senate seat to write a loophole that gave huge tax cuts to himself and his biggest donors, leaving us with crumbs. And that's how we get left behind. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
The city of Antigo has been selected to receive funding through the DNR Safe Drinking Water Loan Program. The project would include the removal and replacement of one of the water towers in Antigo, which was built back in the 1930s. An environmental review determined the project will have no significant environmental effects. The safe drinking water funding will total nearly $3 million. The city is currently in the planning stages of the project and hope to begin the project in fall of 2023. Feed Our Rural Kids, or FORK, started a few years ago to help out food insecure families in the Northland Pines School District. Now the nonprofit just announced it's expanding its mission to all of Oneida and Vilas counties. FORK created an endowment fund in 2020 to financially support the future of its programming in the Pines, Phillips, and Three Lakes school districts. The group just announced that endowment fund will be given more purpose by financially supporting all food insecurity organizations in Oneida and Vilas County. This includes places like food pantries. FORK President Perry Pocrant said affordable food can make a world of a difference to a family.
If a food pantry can help you get from point A to point B, and that amount of support helps you get there and doesn't decimate your family, then that's what those things are there for. That's why people are there helping, is because sometimes all it takes is a little bit of a hand.
Currently, the FORK endowment is in the middle of a $1 million Phase 1 capital campaign. At this time, donations total just over $400,000. If you would like to help, you can go to feedourruralkids.org. Stick around. We'll be back with one final look at the forecast.
Oh, boy, would you look at that field goal he kicked right there?
That looks fantastic. Boy, it looks like you need to stop at Tomahawk Furniture and Guns.
Furniture and guns?
They've got everything you need at great prices. Recliners, sofas, mattresses, and guns.
At Batteries Plus, we do more than replace batteries and fix phones and tablets. We help our neighbors power their lives. Need a phone fixed? We got it. Get powered in-store, curbside, and at batteriesplus.com.
Celebrate fall at the 28th Annual Fall Harvest Festival, downtown Phillips on October 1st. Fun for the whole family, including craft fair, fall specials, pumpkin decorating, and more. Music by Reunited from 11 to 3. That's October 1st, downtown Phillips.
Water is one of nature's most beautiful and life-sustaining resources. At no fault of their own, many Wisconsin utility customers are facing a shutoff to their water service. This leaves them without the one life-giving resource we all take for granted. And those hardest hit are on fixed incomes, juggling multiple temporary jobs, or those who lost full-time jobs in sectors hardest hit by the pandemic. If someone you care about needs a hand up, your local Wisconsin energy and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safely in your home and your water, heat, and power on. If you are in danger of losing your water service, call 833-H2O-WISC, 833-426-9472. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
At a company, the culture comes from the top. Tim Michaels' company has been sued numerous times over sexual assault and harassment in the workplace. Women who worked for Michaels' company said they were groped, assaulted, and pressured to have sex with their bosses. Higher-ups at Michaels dismissed the women as liars and even fired those who spoke out. Is that what we